Hello, everyone. Today actually had a lot of potential news stories, from Trump meeting with Kim Jong-un to Michael Cohen drama, typical, and everything in between. Really, there's a lot of news today. But instead, I'm going to cover one that touches on a topic that I've covered on this channel before, and that is Ben Sass's bill called Born Alive Abortion Survivors Protection Act, or what some have been calling the Anti-Infanticide bill. The Associated Press commented as the bill was being brought up and voted on yesterday, Monday, February 25th. At 4:50, the Associated Press commented the following: Republicans are pushing toward a Senate vote Monday on legislation that would threaten prison for doctors who don't try saving the life of infants born alive during abortions, a measure that seemed certain to fail but offered the GOP a chance to appeal to conservative voters. Opponents say the bill is unneeded. They say such births are rare and laws already make it a crime to kill newborn babies. Doctors and abortion rights groups say it is extremely unusual for live infants to be born during attempted late-term abortions, which they say usually occur when the baby is extremely deformed or deemed unable to survive after birth. What is important here to mention is that if this would be made a federal bill, law, etc., that would mean that certain states would have to specifically vote to ignore it or supersede that bill with another, much like Colorado in the weed situation. I reckon that this kind of legislation, which again was brought up by Ben Sasse, which, by the way, was the guy to comment the following at Virginia Governor Ralph Northam in regards to that Virginia abortion bill debacle. He said, "This is morally repugnant. In just a few years, pro-abortion zealots went from safe, legal, and rare to keep the newborns comfortable while the doctor debates infanticide. I don't care what party you're from. If you can't say that it's wrong to leave babies to die after birth, get the hell out of public office." So it's reasonable to say I could guess what encouraged him to draft this bill. Now, just so everyone is fully aware of what the bill entails, we are going to go through that draft because it's short and it's worth knowing so that you can tell everyone who reports it wrong to go fuck themselves. Maybe. Something like that. To amend Title 18, United States Code, to prohibit a healthcare practitioner from failing to exercise the proper degree of care in the case of a child who survives an abortion or attempted abortion. 1. If an abortion results in the live birth of an infant, the infant is a legal person for all purposes under the laws of the United States and entitled to all protections of such laws. 2. Any infant born alive after an abortion or within a hospital, clinic, or other facility has the same claim to the protection of the law that would arise for any newborn, or for any person who comes to a hospital, clinic, or other facility for screening and treatment or otherwise becomes a patient within its care. So this is clearly an insurance policy to prevent a bill as irresponsibly written as the Virginia one, I suppose. It says so in the first statement, but let's continue into Section A because this will get referenced again. Now, of course, this part might be a little long, so I will encourage you to go and read the whole thing, but I will reference the important lines. 1. Degree of care required. Immediate admission to a hospital. Any healthcare practitioner present at the time the child is born alive shall A. Exercise the same degree of professional skill, care, and diligence to preserve the life and health of the child as a reasonably diligent and conscientious healthcare practitioner would render to any other child born alive at the same gestational age, and B. Following the exercise of skill, care, and diligence required under subparagraph A, ensure that the child born alive is immediately transported and admitted to a hospital. 2. Mandatory reporting of violations. A healthcare practitioner or any employee of a hospital, a physician's office, or an abortion clinic who has knowledge of a failure to comply with the requirements of paragraph 1 shall immediately report the failure to an appropriate state or federal law enforcement agency, or to both. B. Penalties. 1. In general, whoever violates subsection A shall be fined under this title or imprisoned for not more than 5 years or both. 2. Intentionally killing of child born alive. Whoever intentionally performs or attempts to perform an overt act that kills a child born alive described under subsection A shall be punished as under Section 1111 of this title for intentionally killing or attempting to kill a human being. Okay, so I read a lot at you. Just so you don't think that I am lying to you, rapid fire, these are the titles of the next sections. 1. Civil action by a woman on whom an abortion is performed. 2. Appropriate relief or civil action. 3. Attorney's fee for plaintiff. 4. Attorney's fee or defendant. And definitions. So now that everything has been read out, striking the parts that I just mentioned, we can discuss what all that means. So the first one is speaking of the requirements that all doctors all need to do their fucking jobs and handle newly born children like they're human beings. And then the penalties are such that they would classify the newly born baby as a fucking human being. You know, I feel as if, as I say this, it almost sounds like I'm explaining exactly what is written by repeating the words. So you know what? Screw it. If it required a bill to tell people that a failed abortion that results in a live birth is anything but clearly and obviously a human being, then there is something legitimately wrong with you. Which is why I was so pissed when the AP reported, Senate Democrats have blocked a Republican effort to pass legislation threatening prison for doctors who don't try saving the life of infants born alive during abortions. Monday's vote was 53 to 44 for the measure. That was 7 short of the 60 votes Republicans needed to end Democratic delaying tactics aimed at killing the bill. The measure was sponsored by Nebraska's GOP Senator Ben Sasse. He says that the bill gave senators a chance to show they oppose infanticide. Opponents say the measure was an effort to appeal to conservative voters and continue a GOP assault on abortion rights. They say live births during abortions are extremely rare and usually occur when doctors decide the infant could not survive. They say laws already prohibit killing infants born alive during abortions. I question everything at this point. I am quite sick of progressive Congress members who think that they are virtue signaling to a majority but in fact are so fucking deluded that they don't know that they voted against a law that ensures that infanticide would be on a federal fucking statute. But no, people like Kamala Harris had the audacity to go and say this shit. I voted no on this bill. Every woman has a fundamental right to access comprehensive reproductive health care, and I remain committed to fighting for that. I hope you have to answer for that on the presidential campaign trail, because I'm going to tell you something, so be sure to pay attention. This bill was not an attack on comprehensive reproductive health care. To consider this comprehensive health care is the most tone-deaf thing that I have ever heard. And I certainly hope you are called out for what you said here, because it's frankly sickening. But that's all I got today. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this one because goddamn. I hope you all have a good one, and I'll see y'all soon.